Hey, how's it going? It's Walsh here, sick as always. We're back to Path of Exile. Let's go. We got the league coming up next week. This video is going to be kind of quick. I'm going to be showing you 4 league starter shell characters. And what I mean by that is it's a full build. It's going to be most of them are level 95. There's one exception, but I'll talk to you about that when we get to it. And they're mainly just to show you how to play the build, how to get to a certain point, and they're open enough in terms of like gear and what you can do with your passives, so that you can change it and adjust it on the fly to what you need, and it'll give you a chance to theory craft for yourself. I really think having like step by step for everything in a build makes it really hard for new players to learn how to play the game. That's just my own opinion. I'm not saying anyone's doing it wrong or anything like that. This is just the way I like to do it to hopefully help you learn how to play yourself. Anyway, I hope you enjoy and thank you for watching. So the first shell I actually want to show you is the character that is most likely to be my league starter. And before I talk about anything else, I just want to remind you real quick about what I'm saying is a league shell, or sorry, a league starter shell. Now, all that really means is the build is left open to interpretation. So as you can see, I basically have no gear on here, just some very, very, very simple stuff, just to give you a rough idea of what you're looking for. And I don't like to play like in the way where you know, I get everything down to the wire on POB. I got all the items up there, everything I'm looking for, and all that. I like to get it all set up, know where I'm heading with the build, and then just adapt to it on the fly. All right, enough about the league starter shell. I'm sure you have an idea by now. Let's talk about the build itself. Now, we're going to be playing Divine Ire Ignite. Most likely, like I said, it's going to be my league starter, but you never know until the day of. What I really like about this build is I've never actually played Divine Ire, and I love experimenting with new skills. And we get to play Ignite, which, kind of addicted to Ignite, and we get to be an Elementalist. So, hey, we get golems. Heck yeah, fantastic. So you don't have to go golems. You could actually drop all this and grab like Shaper of Storms and Heart of Destruction or Heart of Destruction and Bastion. No matter what, you should definitely take Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. No matter what, you should take Heart of Destruction though. Always. If you're not going golems, it's just way too powerful, so much damage, and yeah, it's just fun to get that multiplier. So let's talk about the build in terms of defense and offense. Now, defensively, you have a ton of life, and you're going to have a lot of armor and a lot of reduction and regen from the golems. So you should actually feel pretty safe. And the Divine Ire actually shoots that really long beam. And with Prolift, you're going to kill packs you can't even see. So you really shouldn't be in a situation where you're getting swarmed from all sides and dying, which is usually how I die as a spellcaster. But like I said, that shouldn't happen on here. Now, the clear speed on this character is going to feel absolutely amazing. As you can see, we have almost 9 cast speed with very, very low stats. Remember, rings can get up to like what? It's like 15 or 20 now or something crazy. So expect to be really, really fast. Because remember, you only need like 1 or 2 stages to just blast a pack and keep running. The only time you're ever going to fully charge is against a boss. And if you have 9, 10, maybe even 11 cast rate, you're just going to instantly just blast, 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 and it's going to be fantastic. Mana and auras, you can change that around a little bit. I have what I think I would prefer the best. I think clarity will just make it feel a little more smooth. You don't have to have it. You could swap it out for a bunch of things. So anyway, in terms of clear speed, I'd probably give it an 8 or even a 9, honestly, out of a 10. And in terms of bossing, it's kind of hard to say. I've never really played Divine Ire. The numbers look really good, especially with no gear on, and we're playing Ignite. So I'm probably going to give it like a 6 or a 7. But just remember to take that with a grain of salt because I've never actually played it. I would recommend this build for pretty much anyone. It's pretty fast. It's pretty simple. You don't have to hit a lot of buttons. You're basically just using Divine Ire and Wave of Conviction. Your golems resummon. And yeah, I'd recommend this for pretty much anyone new or experienced. All right, let's take a look at our second character. We got a Fireball Chieftain. Now, don't be scared by the damage number and how low it looks. We're basically wearing nothing. We're basically wearing absolutely nothing, and the fireball changes aren't here. I really didn't want to get hung up on the exact DPS, so I'm like, oh, it's really good or it's really bad, because that change for fireball is gonna be pretty drastic, honestly. You're gonna get quite a bit of damage. Now, this build is pretty straightforward. As you can see, we basically just hug the edge of the tree. Now, the thing with this build, this is the bit I was saying. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, this is the build I didn't take to 95, and the reason for that, I would strongly recommend you get at least one decent, large or medium cluster jewel. There's a couple of different ways to farm cluster jewels. I really don't want to get into it too much. Trying to keep this video kind of short and just show you the shell of the character. But I would definitely, recommend looking into cluster jewels before you push your way into yellow maps. It shouldn't be too hard. Once again, this build is really, really tanky. I like to be really tanky. I don't like to die. I used to only play hardcore, but my internet really sucks. I don't really play it anymore. So I still like to keep that, you know, feeling of life. But anyway, this build, I gotta tell you, it's not gonna be the best bosser, but mapping should feel pretty nice. Once you get some good cluster jewels and once you can drop all this junk down here, this is just like kind of for flavor. It's like, hey, I don't have a cluster jewel, got some points, get some more life, whatever. You could actually, if you want to go hardcore, get 2 sets of cluster jewels up, and that would make you amazing. I would probably put the bossing for this character probably like a 6. You could definitely push it to like a 7, 7.5, but honestly, like I don't know. I don't want to tell you it's good because like the fireball numbers look nice, but like it's fireball. Now in terms of mapping, we're looking at a solid, 8, maybe 9. Yeah, remember Val Fireball when if you switch to lesser multiple projectiles, is just gonna clear like several screens of mobs all over the place. Things are just gonna die all around you. Obviously, it's not gonna be as insane as like a Val Arc, blasting across the Shadow Realm, but Val Fireball is pretty nice. So I'd give the clear 8 or a 9. All right, let's take a look at the probably the strangest shell I'm going to show you today. Now, you gotta know I'm a huge Freezing Pulse fan. I was very sad to see the Threshold Jewels go. I was really hoping they'd give Freezing Pulse at least 1 or 2 projectiles, but it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. This build is using Spell Echo, so that mitigates that a little bit. But don't forget, Freezing Pulse always pierces, so it's not that bad. You can definitely switch between, lesser multiple and whatever you need to do. The damage looks pretty low, but keep in mind this is all I'm wearing. Once again, got some simple notes in here for you, nothing crazy. The clear speed on this character is going to be, it's kind of hard to say. It really depends on what tier you're going on. I would not recommend this if you're trying to like blast the red maps. This is like a really nice, white and yellow map farmer. You can do it really fast. You can do it really safely. Freeze everything, level up pretty quickly. You could even use this character. I could change like the build a little bit. This would be a nice thing to level up with. It'd feel really smooth. It wouldn't be as good as like Creeping Frost or something like that in terms of just raw damage, but the clear speed should feel a little better. Clear speed, like I said, I'm probably gonna give it like a 6, maybe a 7, an 8 if you push it. The bossing though, the bossing is kind of tricky. The damage is changing a lot on Freezing Pulse, and I could easily see you doing a ton of damage just by getting, some void batteries or something like that. But I don't want to tell you it's going to be absolutely nutty until, we see everything in action. So I'm probably just going to give the boss a humble 6 or a 7. Nothing too crazy, but it shouldn't be, as bad as Fireball. All right, so for the last shell of the day, I kind of feel like a traitor doing this, but let's take a look at Boneshatter Champion. Now, the reason I'm saying the whole traitor thing is I absolutely love Boneshatter Juggernaut. In the notes of this, you'll actually see a YouTube link for my Juggernaut guide. I love that character. Character tanked everything. I just stood there slapping stuff around. Scourge was easy to tank, fun character, highly recommend it. Anyway, let's talk about this one. This character should have pretty close to the same level of defense as the Bone Shatter character on Juggernaut, but the damage potential should be a good 30 to 40% higher in theory. I'm not saying you're definitely going to get that. You're definitely going to have to use some investment. You could even, if you're on trade, you can do a lot more than I can do on SSF. But this character should feel pretty solid. The clear speed, I'm going to tell you right now, easily an 8 or a 9. My Bone Shadow Juggernaut was a 9, 9.5. It's just beautiful. This character should be at least as good for clear speed, and the bossing should be a whole tier or two higher than the Juggernaut. Now, the bossing, once again, maybe a 7, maybe an 8, but with this character, you could push it. If you switch to full crit, change some stuff around, you could probably get to 9 for bossing with this character. I'm not going to say you definitely can, but you can definitely hit at least 8, 8.5. Not a lot to say about this character. It's pretty straightforward. It's a melee character. get a lot of damage on your weapon. This is what I had last league. I made it in like the second week or something like that. Nothing too crazy. I really do love Boneshatter. I think it's really underrated in terms of just fun and clear speed. I think a lot of people hear the strike skill and they're like, "Oh man, my clear speed's gonna be terrible." Trust me, the clear speed is not the problem. It's just about getting a good enough weapon to do bossing, chaining some stuff around, maybe doing crit if you can. This is the last build I'm gonna show you today, so I'm gonna go to the outro. So I just want to say thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I cannot wait for the league. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I've only added a couple builds here because I wasn't really sure how people would feel about the whole like shell thing. I know it's not exactly a new idea or anything, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to put all the POBs down in the description, and they'll have a timestamp for which build they're correlating with, but it's kind of obvious. Anyway, can't wait to see you guys on Friday. Hope you guys have an awesome league start.